Alain Arseneault, Chief Strategist with the IIBA, and I'm here with Julian Sammy, Chief Architect with IIBA, and they're here presenting at the ProjectWorld World Congress of Business Analysts, talking about requirements gathering and planning for success. And I thought I'd give them a moment to tell us a little bit about what they're going to be presenting on, some highlights and some tips for people to what they can take away from this discussion. Gentlemen?
So the main topic we're dealing with is how to plan as a BA and how to do the business analysis planning, because it's something that BAs are generally very poor at. We haven't been trained, we're not traditionally planners, and PMs, they're good at it. So we're covering some real highlights about developing an approach, which means understanding strategically what you're going to do, developing information about your stakeholders, and finally putting together an actual series of activities or a plan.
Basically, this presentation is a summary of the work that we've done within the company that we both work for, BMO Financial Group. And about 2.5 years ago, we realized that one of the key competency that was really poor into our BA practice was planning for requirement. So Julian and I, we actually developed a 2-day course for the organization that would help our practitioners become better and more proficient about planning. So this particular presentation summarizes some of the key activities that we have identified within our own practice for BAs to plan their work.
Mm-hmm. So the people who have come to this course, to this learning lab, will walk out with a technique that they can use to not listen to my BlackBerry. The people who come to this learning lab will walk out with a technique to develop the content they need to develop an approach, to put together an approach that helps them be successful and promote success. They will walk out with a technique for finding stakeholders, finding them early and finding most of them, which is obviously hugely important, and with a real clear outline of what needs to go into the actual plan, what sort of information is useful for negotiation, useful for scheduling your activities, and useful for making sure that you're coordinated with everyone else who's in a project.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much. I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you. In our organization of BAs, there was one of the competencies that we're really not good at was planning the work. Because planning is very much a project manager competency. But what we think, and you're going to see more and more of this, in fact, the BADLOC 2.0 refers to business analysis planning, is that it's a really important skill and competency to have as a BA to ensure your success in doing your work. So we plan for many reasons. First one, obviously, to be efficient. To be efficient as a BA, you need to plan what you're going to do, as opposed to just react to it and be faced with the work that you have to do.
I'm going to just go up there. Click on
there. You said manage expectation and set expectation. This is a very key part of having a good plan in place. When you have a requirement in place or a business analysis plan in place, you're able to set and manage expectations with key stakeholders that you need to engage. Your internal business partners, your clients, project managers, other leads that are involved in the project work. So that's really, really important that people understand what you have to do as a BA and manage those expectations with those key stakeholders. It's also a great way to communicate what you have to do. If you spend some time planning this information, I can have now a coherent conversation with my stakeholders and tell them I'm going to need X amount of time to do my work, and this is all the work that I need to do. So you can use this tool to communicate your work and have conversation and negotiate your time or negotiate the work with some of the key stakeholders. Reduce risk. Obviously, if you're able to put a plan together in place, you are putting yourself in a position to mitigate or even reduce the risk when you involve your stakeholders. So if I plan ahead of time that I have to schedule stakeholder A for 3 hours, as opposed to just react to it and send them a quick email the day of or the week of, I'm reducing the risk because I had planned this, I had even time to probably speak to this person in this group and involve them in the discussion to say, at that time, I will need you to be there and be part of those activities. And finally, having a good plan in place, and PMs will tell you that, if you can put a good plan in place, it promotes success. It promotes your own success, it promotes success of the project.